Hey, everybody, and welcome to another Tribal Council in Survivor Hamilton Old Meets New. We are here, as you can see, with the recently reformed Nevala tribe, who just lost Thursday's immunity challenge on the back of Chris's mistake. Everyone else did a great job. Chris, who has not joined the video yet, was the one who kind of sent us here, and here actually, I'm going to admit him now. But before we get to the immunity challenge, I wanted to ask Dave, what was the twist with the tribe swap like, and how do you feel to be back on Nevala?
Getting here was kind of a mission for me. I had like zero luck. Um, so getting here wasn't really a choice of mine. I would have much rather gone to Ulu or Kabara if I had the choice. But I was left in third place, so I didn't have the choice, right? But now that I've seen what other tribes are like, I can I really liked Kabara. Like they've got a good culture over there. Like as soon as you come in that tribe, it's just jokes, and everyone feels welcome. Everyone feels like they're part of a team. And on New Nevala, like it's not really like that. I won't say bad things about everybody, but because I guess you know John, I had like a relationship with before from Old Nevala, and we've maintained that. And I like the I guess the back and forth that we have, because it's not always about the game, right? And that's what is an important part of this thing, that it's not always about the game, right? And like there's other cool people on the tribe too, but maybe I just don't know that because they didn't really want to like get to know me. So I only had an afternoon to get to know them, really. So before we
Well,
had a
and,
chance.
and that's it, and that's the challenge, right? Is I was looking back at the schedule, and you really had 3 weeks with Kobara, with everything that went on there, and you've had only a couple days here with New Nevala. So the twist, and then the controversy around the twist, and kind of having to change things around. You're the person who really, out of all of that, ended up kind of with the short straw, and I'm sorry for that. And
Oh
I
no,
hope,
no,
yeah.
I know. Like we've had conversations, and I it's not your fault. Like nothing that happened was
Oh, yeah.
something you could manage in any way, right? Like so, it's just the way things go, sometimes, right?
Oh,
So
for sure. And yeah, and it is a game, absolutely. All I mean is, you didn't get a good draw here, but I think that you've made the most of it, and we'll get back to that, kind of talking about what you've been working on today. I wanted to throw it to Chris, who's joined the call now, just to kind of let us know what happened in the challenge. Why is Nevala here?
Testing, testing. Is it working?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the question pop up. I happened to be right in front of my phone at the time, and I knew obviously where on the webpage to look for that answer, but I didn't bother doing that because I just thought, I remember looking at my profile like a week ago, and I just thought that I knew the answer. I was so sure that I didn't need to look, so I just answered very quickly, and then kind of started talking with the tribe, trying to help out anyone who might need to look or whatever, and just making sure everyone else was getting their answer in. And then I kind of flipped back to the webpage to take a look, and scrolled down the page and saw there was sixth and not fifth, and I was like, shit. I felt it at that moment. It felt like any kind of loss on the sports field that you've ever endured before.
Pretty instantly too, right? Like it was a really quick challenge. So as soon as
Yeah.
you double checked it, you had to let everybody know. What was the feedback that you got initially from the tribe when everybody else found out?
Yeah, I was like, damn it, Chris. That kind of thing I got from James right away. Just knowing that it's you could have taken 5 extra seconds. Like I was already really fast. I was the second person to answer. If I checked, I might have been like the fifth or sixth. Like no big deal.
Right.
Who cares? And so the guys were giving it to me a bit for that, and that's fair.
Right. Amanda, I'm sure that, going to tribal council is not something that anybody wants. Did it kind of sting to have what seemed like a really strong challenge kind of get pulled away from you guys last second?
Chris said all the guys gave him a hard time, but I gave him a hard time too. So I don't know.
That's true. I meant that. I meant the team. I heard it. I knew what happened. Yeah.
No, I was a bit disappointed. And it sucks for Dave too, coming over to a brand new tribe, knowing full well that you're not part of the group. So I'm it's pretty much guaranteed you're going to be the next person voted out. And that sucks. Right. And it didn't really even give him a chance. But who knows how that's going to go tonight? I have no idea. I literally have no idea. No idea.
Well, speaking of that, Dave, how does it feel to have gone to so many tribal councils? Because you can't win on any tribe.
I don't know. Maybe my luck is just a curse to whatever tribe I go to. Maybe you never know, right? I knew that. I've dealt with this on it seems like a bi-weekly basis now. Every week I'm going twice a week. I'm getting to see your face, so it's nothing too horrible here, right? So
oh, well, thank you. That seems awfully nice.
I get some
I bet if I looked thanks. I bet if I look back, it would be every single Saturday since the game began. You've probably been to each of them.
Yeah. Without playing baseball this year, my wife thought I'd have Saturdays off, but no, it's not the case.
Well, I know, especially today, and I do want to ask about today, but I have some other questions as well. John, when Dave joined, he obviously is someone who you'd worked with, for a while through a lot of different votes on the Nevala tribe, but you also just voted out Andre, who had kind of that same connection. So was there anything different, looking at the alliance you currently have in the tribe, and then looking at Andre coming in, and then now Dave, was Dave able to kind of make any impacts where Andre wasn't?
I think just Andre's game, he didn't talk as much, or he wasn't as involved. So just because with Dave, even when we left tribe, we still talk game. We talk game, we talk life. We made jokes about each other's tribes. So when Dave came on, it was able just to really reconnect with him. Just at least on a personal level. Talking about game, we shared a bit here and there, but it wasn't anything too major.
Dave, did you feel that you were kind of able to kind of get right back into it with John and have some open conversation?
Well, it's not even about getting back into it, because like John said, the lines of communication never really were closed off, right? We still shoot the shit every so often and wish each other luck before different challenges and stuff. So there was never really an issue with picking it back up, so it was all good.
Awesome. So Amanda, you've played with Chris, James, and Peter now for the whole game. You've been on the same tribes, and you're part of that dominant Kobara alliance, or that Kobara tribe, the dominant Kobara tribe. And it kind of, I spoiled my question a little bit, but really what I wanted to ask is, does it still feel unified when you're on Kobara, or is there some other alliances and some other groups were at work in your tribe?
No, it's pretty much the same. It's just, it got really staticky there. I think it's just Kobara with a new face, essentially. So nothing's changed over here, I don't think.
Okay.
Right on. Yeah. That's all
you can say whatever you want. That's what we're here for.
I think that's enough for now.
Okay. I'll make a mental note of that. Peter, are you still lying back being invisible or what?
So this week I had we found black mold underneath one of the showers in my house. And so I got the baseboards off over here, and behind the baseboard there's black mold on the drywall, and it's way worse elsewhere. And so for me, this week was really just a matter of show up for the challenge, try and do your best. Unfortunately, we didn't win, and then it seemed pretty quiet today or it seemed pretty quiet in general. And then I think Dave is trying to pull something off, obviously.
Right.
And we'll see how it goes.
What was Dave's message to you?
I mean, his message to me was that he had an immunity idol and that he was going to, in the long run, the tribe was going to turn on me, and that if I would just stick with him, then everything would be awesome. And, I'm not going to, sure, maybe he has some secret idol that has superpowers that's going to change the flow of how things go in the tribe. But, I'm not going to be the guy that got tricked by Dave into voting out one of the guys that I've been pretty sturdy with for the whole game.
Was he making the case that if you guys, let's say you're a tight alliance of 4 right now, that at some point you're going to have to go against each other, so why not now?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Right, and then he was talking about an idol as well.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you don't necessarily put a lot of stock in that, or maybe as an alliance, you just kind of are trying to hedge your bets, or what did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, what's the best way of saying this? I'm not going to spend my whole Saturday trying to pull off some kind of big move that in the long run is going to shoot me in the foot. And so, it just doesn't seem like a good use of my time. It doesn't seem like a good use of the relationships that I have with people in the game. And if I go out because Dave has an ace up his sleeve, then I go out because Dave has an ace up his sleeve that nobody could have predicted and that you didn't tell anybody about. And that, he lost, he got voted out of his last tribe, and then he lost the challenge, and then,
Oh, I see what you're doing, Peter. So what you're saying is if he has an advantage, it's my fault because
no, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying if that's how I go out, then I'll wear that.
It would be very, very, very unpredictable.
I'll wear that. If that's how I go out, I'll wear that. But you know what? I'm not going to be the guy that got tricked by some guy that I met earlier this afternoon to vote out somebody that I've been working with the whole game.
Understood. James, did you get a similar message from Dave, and are you also trying to juggle the idea of kind of what you need to do right now, but then also the idea that at some point you may have to go against your own friends?
Surprisingly, Dave didn't reach out to me at all. So it's been most of the day was quiet until the end. But that pitch has been thrown before, like last week when Andre was about to get voted out, and you have to consider all options, and you can't just stick with one option the whole way. But I mean, week to week, it changes all the time. So I think, I've just been deciding based on this week. I haven't even thought that far ahead. So I don't know if that answers your question, Mike.
Yeah, no, it does, of course.
Yeah.
John, I wanted to ask, Dave obviously mentioned, sounds like he mentioned that he had an advantage or an idol, and your tribe did have a reward challenge for an immunity idol a couple weeks ago. And I wanted to ask, is overall this discussion of hidden immunity idols something that's pretty relevant to this vote and to just the tribe right now?
I think it's always there in the back of your mind. It's always a possibility. Like if you watch a show, everybody knows the idol's there. It's just whether you think it's going to get played this early, right? You play it, you might save yourself, but really you lose it down the line, right? So it depends where your goal is, right? So some people, if they know where it's going, it's going to get played. But I think with 6 people, when 12 or 13 people, it's a lot harder. But right now, it's it's always in play. I don't think you can ever not consider it, right? It's just whether you vote on Ulu. They're just like, you know what, we don't even want to take that option in. We'll go straight for Sharif, right? So
Right. Yeah.
that decision is based upon the idol, right? So in the head, you have to think that it's there. You can't ignore it. So you have to play your options, right? Maybe Graham took it with them, right? We don't know, right? Like, it's just, we're trying to figure out where it is, who has it. But at the end of the day, I don't have it. So you got to like play like, okay, how do I, like, what does that mean, right?
Right. No, that's great. That's great analysis. I appreciate that. One thing that's unique from our game to the TV show is that there's nothing stopping people from interfering across tribes. And I get a sense that might be either continuing at the same rate or increasing. And I wanted to ask Chris, did you see maybe today or yesterday, or just for this vote specifically, an increase in messaging or input from Kobara or Ulu?
Yeah. Excuse me. I always keep in touch with other people as well. So when they're going to tribal, like, I like to get a feel for maybe what's going on, or I'll poke around, But there was maybe a few people that seemed more invested in than usual, and in kind of trying to influence today's outcome, and making pitches on Dave's behalf. I think I got more from other people than I got from Dave about keeping Dave.
And how does that make you kind of feel about Dave as a player, or Dave as somebody to work with potentially?
No, I don't think that's anything like his fault there by any means. He played how he wanted to play, and he had a strategy the last couple of days. I'm sure he asked maybe some people for some insight, but I'm sure he made the decision he wanted to make. But I think other people, sometimes it's too tempting not to try to interfere, and you think you might be able to make a difference because you know somebody, and it might benefit you if you can convince that person to kind of make a move to work with you later. But I think it's dangerous to think too many moves down the road as well. So sometimes people get ahead of themselves when they message people in other tribes.
Right. Thanks, Chris. Dave, were you aware that folks were potentially reaching out from Kobara on your behalf?
No, I think John mentioned that someone said a good word for me or something like that, maybe, but other than that, after I got sent here, I got like a couple messages from some people on Kobara saying, you're a good guy, like, don't worry about things. If anything's gonna work out, then it'll work out for you, because we know who you are and stuff, But I knew coming in here, like, even before like the vote happened on Kobara, right? John messaged me and was basically like, do not come here. If you get voted, do not come here, because it doesn't matter who's coming here, it's going to be a 5-1 vote no matter what. So, it's like basically a death sentence if you come to Nevala, right? So I knew that coming in. So yeah.
So if it's a 5-1 vote, and we've said this about some of the other tribes, and this tribe very specifically, as they just went through a unanimous vote of Andre, that means that somebody is next in line, or maybe there's a 4 within the 5 and a 3 within the 4. Did you get a sense that that's the case, and that the 5, if it is 5-1, that it's not as unified as it seems?
Well, I'm gonna say this, right? This is like, you've made this pretty damn clear that it's an individual game, right? Like, and everybody who's friends with other people will always think that their best interests are being played for them, and a lot of the times, they can see other things happening, right? And when it is getting closer to the merge, if people are thinking that it's going to merge at anywhere from 12 to 15 people or so, then they might want to make a move beforehand just to get the ball rolling. And especially if their hands don't get dirty in the process, it's a win-win, right? Because it's like, if X person gets voted off and I know about it, but I didn't do anything about it, it doesn't, I'm not going to stop it from happening, because in the end, maybe that works out for me better, right? So there's always that aspect of the game where friends are friends on the surface, and then when they're playing, it's a different story. So, you know, it's hard. It's really hard to trust anybody in this game, for me especially, since I don't know anybody, right? It's easy for probably like these guys in this tribe, like, and girls, sorry, to trust each other, because they have pre-existing relationships with each other, right? I met John a month ago, and I met these guys a couple of days ago. So
yeah, completely understandable. We're gonna get to the vote in a moment. Is there anything that anybody wants to say to the tribe heading into next week or heading into the next vote, as one of you will be gone and the rest of you will be left? Kind of like one of those open-ended questions that it's like in a business meeting where nobody wants to just extend the meeting even longer. So I can understand that. I actually made a list of questions today, and I've run out. So I'm going to treat that as a victory. And then I'm going to get to the votes. So as is typical, now is when I would ask if anybody has a hidden immunity idol and they want to play it. Now would be the time to do so. And you guys can look around at each other and figure out if anybody's going to put their hand up and play an idol. And no. So no, not again. No one's played an idol. It's great. So to John's point, is they're out there, but they're not having as much of an impact on the day-to-day votes, other than who the votes are going for. But they're not changing the results because they're not being played. So we've had, this is the 14th. So we've had 12 people eliminated so far. So this is going to be the 13th person eliminated from the game. And I will read the votes. We have 6 votes. So a majority of at least 3 or 4 is going to be needed to send somebody home. Well, depending on how many votes we get. So here we go. First vote, Dave. Second vote, Amanda. That's 1 vote Dave, 1 vote Amanda. Third vote, Dave. That's 2 votes Dave, 1 vote Amanda. Next vote, Chris. That's 2 votes Dave, 1 vote Amanda, 1 vote Chris. Next vote, Amanda. That's 2 votes Dave, 2 votes Amanda, 1 vote Chris, 1 vote left. Next vote, the 13th person voted out of the game is Dave. By a vote of 3 to 2 to 1. Dave, unfortunately, you have been voted out of the game, as you expected. So everybody else, thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Dave, we'll stick around and I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye, guys.
Enjoy the weekend.
See you guys.
Later.
Bye, Dave.
Bye,
Yep.
Dave.